Hello brothers and sisters, thank you for always coming back to watch our videos and for subscribing. We cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much. And we keep on celebrating things that are happening in Africa. Sometimes we talk about things that are not so good but are also affecting Africa. And this time we're talking about Nigeria and Niger. So Nigeria and Niger, you remember that ECOWAS lifted sanctions. So this time it's Nigeria that has reopened its land and air borders with Niger, lifting economic sanctions imposed by ECOWAS following the military coup of July 2023. So these border closures and economic sanctions had a significant impact on the populations and economies of Niger and Nigeria. And the resumption of trade is therefore good news for both countries. We remember what happened when, I think we always blame the president of Nigeria, Tinubu. Because how do you close the borders? You ban even the supply of medicines, you ban the supply of food, you cut electricity to the Niger. People are suffering, it's like you are not human at all. So people are dying but you don't care. It's not, the master has spoken. And after they did that, we realized that immediately Nigeria secured $1.3 billion funding for rail link to Niger. So Nigeria has secured a $1.3 billion funding to complete a railway project connecting Kano, the largest city in the north, to Maradi in neighboring Niger. The railway line will build on existing economic and social ties to boost trade and cultural cooperation between the two countries. Funding will come from a consortium led by the China Civil Engineering Consortium Company, which contributed 5% of the total. The remaining 15% will be governed by the Nigerian government alongside institutions like the African Exim Bank, that is Export-Import Bank, and the AFDB, African Development Bank. So it's like they knew this was going to happen, so they pushed for the relaxation of sanctions so that they can
continue.
Because they are benefiting from this, and we can say that Niger won. And the winning is the one that led to these guys saying, we are just wasting time. So we have to
delaying
continue
our own progress.
But that should not be the case. They are brothers. We are brothers.
To me, it seems like Nigeria, it was more of a loss for Nigeria than it was for Niger. Niger was already adapting to the new conditions of life. You deal with these things. It's like how Russia did it when they were being sanctioned. They deal with them, they get ways in which they can live with those sanctions.
And
Zimbabweans
supplying themselves with.
Zimbabweans have lived for over, 21 years, I think, with sanctions, and they've managed to continue with their businesses here and there. People have not left.
In Zimbabwe, they have suffered more.
They suffered, but the good thing I like, even Dr. Rikana says that Zimbabweans are very resilient. Despite the sanctions, you would have thought everybody would just run out of Zimbabwe. People still stayed, and people were wondering, what does even Zimbabwe look like as a country? Does it even have, proper buildings and proper structures? Only to find that Zimbabwe is doing well. It's okay.
Only that the politicians have not been doing so well, and most of them are about me, and they don't. But if we had someone like Putin, or someone like our very own leaders, it will be very far, because they could say, okay, you have sanctioned us, we can use our minerals, process them and sell
for
to
other people who are interested in us,
and not for me but for the country.
Exactly.
But,
and because now the proceeds, when you take all the profits and you take them to yourself and you don't develop the country, it doesn't help anybody, just you. So those are the kind of things that I see Nigeria realizing that, hey, we are just wasting time here. Nigerians are suffering more than Nigerians are suffering. So let us just remove this thing, because it's not going to help us. These people are continuing. IMF listed them as the fastest growing in Africa.
So, and Nigeria
is not even in the list, So realizing that it's just a waste of time on our side, Tinubu was like, let's just give in.
So we are happy that Niger can use Nigeria. But remember, they started using Togo.
But at some point, Benin also opened.
Yeah, of course they opened because it's the easiest way. Benin is the easiest way, and remember, Benin and Niger has a pipeline in which Niger will be supplying their oil from Niger to the port of Cotonou. But Togo already accepted, and they never kind of closed the borders. So even after the ECOWAS sanctions were lifted, we remember we showed you guys that it was lifted on the side of Benin, but when the officials from Benin went to the border, they found that it's closed on the side of Niger. So it's like this guy Abraham Mantian was like, let me continue teaching you a lesson. We know you are suffering.
Just like what he did to France. Then they will say, we are back now, we want to fly into you. He was like, no, stay put.
Stay put. So guys, let us know what you think about this. We know you are happy too, because we know you as our family, we celebrate Africa together. And we'll see you in our next video.
Bye.
Bye bye.